Hello everybody, this is Tumba again. I got another build video for you. This is a PvP Sorc. This guy's meant for damage. It's Magicka Sorc. This guy's a high elf sorcerer, and let's get right to it. So, put all your points in Magicka, all your attributes in Magicka. And for gear, you've got 1-piece monster, which I chose for spell penetration. You've got 5-piece clever alchemist that procs on the back bar. So when you're on your back bar, pop your potion. Don't pop your potion on your front bar, or you won't get that beautiful damage. Look at that, 675 damage for 20 seconds and you're boss. And when you're on your front bar, you got Night Slayer. Night Slayer, I don't know if you've used this set before. It's going to do 8% of an enemy's max health as oblivion damage every time you heavy attack them. So you dot the guy up, you put your combo on him, and then it's heavy attack, waiting for the stuff to go off, throw your crystal frags, Mage's Wrath, execute, boom. This will kill tanks. You'll run up to some guy who is just face tanking a small group on his own. He's a one-man army and he just won't die. And then you come in and this set, Night Slayer, does the job. It's too good. It's really too good. I don't know why enough people don't use this. And then they got Ring of Pale Order. This is really... it's really your money maker here. This is going to keep you alive. This is, well, just using this means that you're solo. You don't require other people to heal you. No one else can heal you. So you're just floating around Cyrodiil or in BGs, and it doesn't matter if you've got allies near you. Really, they're not gonna heal you anyways in Cyrodiil. So why not go with the Ring of Pale Order? And the 2 pieces, trainee. So you get the max health and max magicka out of the 2-piece set there. I don't know if you know, the trainee set traits here, they're like 1.5 times the normal amount of stats that you would otherwise get from traits. And just 1 piece of trainee will give you a piece, so it's much like a monster set. You still get a trait out of that. I hope that makes sense. I hope the gear makes sense. Oh, by the way, yeah, I've got 2 heavy reinforced to get that extra resist. Resist is key, and tri-stat glyphs on the big pieces. Max magicka traits glyphs on the others. Let's see, 1-piece, 2-piece impen, 3 divines. That's how it goes. 2 bloodthirsty on the jewels, 1 arcane. And then going down here, the Mundus I chose is the Thief. You do need good crit. You need some decent crit. I've got mine up to 30% on my front bar while I'm doing damage. And, okay, let's break down these stats. Alright, max health, I'm not in Cyrodiil. I don't know if you noticed, but this is not zero. This is just my player house. And my stats look really good. I'm going to have about 29,000 health when I'm in Cyrodiil, which is pretty tanky. That's pretty tanky for the amount of DPS that I'm going to have, because I've got decent penetration, got pretty good penetration, I've got like okay crit, I've got a massive amount of spell damage that's going to proc when I'm on this back bar and I hit Clever Alchemist when I'm in combat. That's going to buff it up. No, I don't get it because I'm in combat, but yeah. And then you got physical resist, spell resist that looks decent, buffed up. My back bar is actually defending on that ice staff. Oh, I went with an ice staff on my back bar because I can block using magicka. I've got, you know, plenty more magicka reserve than I do stamp, so I just went with ice staff on the back bar. And front bar is a lightning staff as a Sorc. I highly recommend lightning. There's probably no reason to use anything else other than lightning. In PvP, at least, you can still get your heavy attacks on something that's dodging, which is really important using Night Slayer. And back to stats. So, pumping out a little bit of max stam. If you want to make the max stam higher, there are choices for you. For instance, going Dama House on a monster's piece there. Or you can do triune glyphs or traits for your jewelry to bump that up a bit. I went for damage, you can see. 2 bloodthirsty, 1 arcane. The bloodthirsty instead of infused, because as a Magicka Sorc, when you've got Mage's Wrath on something, you're trying to finish it. If you've got 2 things of bloodthirsty like I do, it's just going to go pop. And Doesn't even matter if they're like a tanky player or not. It's just done. Doesn't matter. You're cutting them down with that heavy attack anyway from the Night Slayer. Let's do skills here. So there's a few options for things you could switch around to make the build play a little differently. This is what I went with right now, and it seems to be working. So this is a must-have. Crit Surge, you must have that. Crits will heal you, and you got your major sorcery from there. And that sort of works with the Pale Order Ring. Keep that up, and keep hitting things, and you will keep receiving health. And yeah, if you can keep Crit Surge up, keep your armor buff up, and keep something dotted with Haunting Curse, you're just going to continuously receive health and survive. Keep your shield up too in your front bar. Back bar, so this is the skill that's sort of like, do you want it? Do you need it? The one utility skill you can swap out for something else if you want. I've got Minefield for this reason, because it's either going to be Minefield or it's going to be from the Sigic Order line. Race Against Time to remove snares, give me some speed. I've already got speed from Boundless Storm, but if someone hits me with a snare in PvP, I'm done. I'm not moving. All I can do is streak from my front bar. I can streak through something. But this Daedric Minefield is especially annoying to players who are full-on melee stam tunes. The guys who are really going to kill you, they're usually stam melee tunes. They're gonna jump you. They're gonna be on top of you. They're gonna be jalapeno face and doing damage face to face, melee contact. So Daedric Minefield is area denial. You just throw that down, and if they hit that, that's a source of health for you. It also turns the tide because each one of those does really good damage, and so you can put this like in a tower on the corners, like you're, going through the tower, and then you drop it down. Then he decides to come around the tower. You hit him here, and he's gonna back away. He's not gonna want to play with you. So you can get your stats back, do your dark deal. There's another source of health there. Dark deal, crit surge, your Daedric Mines I just showed you there, and the Pale Order Ring. Those are your sources of healing. So basically anything that does damage, but also those 4 things I mentioned there. Now, front bar. Doing damage. Here's how it looks. You got your shields, of course. Streak is important. Gotta be streaking. If you expect to be killing things, you gotta be CCing them, right? Constantly. Now, Haunting Curse. I'm trying to show you. Haunting Curse is really, 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 really important. Really important. Especially if you decide to alter the gear and go with the 2-piece monster, like 2-piece Falcon Scoria, which you can do. But Haunting Curse is really important. It's one of your bread and butters as a Sorc. Use that. And don't go into Cyrodiil without negate, please. Sorcs, bring negate. Because in those fights when, you've got a big ball group and you can't stop them, you finally get to an area where if all you've got is Power Overload or Shooting Star or Meteor, then you're not going to do jack. That group is just going to ride right through you, right past you, and continue on to their objective and take the keep. You won't be able to stop them. But if you've got negate, yeah. And you use it at the right moment. When your buddies are hitting them, they're doing the damage, you put the negate on them, they're not getting heals, they're not doing anything, they're dying. Negate is arguably the most powerful ult in the game. Use it. Alright, back to the front bar. Here's your spammable. Crushing Shock. It's got an interrupt, so you can be especially annoying to people. Crushing Shock over and over till you get the Crystal Frag proc. Do not hardcast Crystal Frags. Let loose that Crystal Frags. Whenever it pops up, it's basically free. It's like cap cost, super cheap, and it does super, super, super high damage. And then before they get to 20% health, put Endless Fury on them. Put it on them. And Endless Fury, not the other morph, because Magicka. That's a boatload of Magicka every time someone dies when you hit them with this. So yeah, that's what you do. That's what you do. It's easy. I'm just playing around with Power Overload. It has seemed stronger in the past. I'm playing around with it just to, you know, whatever. I just morphed it. I'm going to see how that goes. I just morphed that too. Ice Comet is what I would do if I were going to go with Comet for my ultimate, which isn't bad. On this bar, you can do Comet, do Ice Comet, and then streak through them at the last second as the Comet's coming in, and they can't be blocking it, because they know it's coming and they're gonna block it. Now, back to the gear. If you're a little more unfamiliar with PvP, I suggest an extra thing of Magicka regen for your glyphs, because I'm sitting at like 1500 Magicka recovery. You're going to want one more glyph of regen, I'm sure, if you're not used to playing Sorc, dancing around a bunch. You got to use your Dark Deal to get your Magicka back. Using that at the right time, you use it preemptively. You don't start trying to Dark Deal this thing. You don't start doing that when you're already out of Magicka. You have to throw that out before you run out of Magicka, okay? Now, also, you can change the gear up a little bit in little other ways. You can do, for instance, 2-piece monster, and then instead of 1 piece of, you can remove these shoulders, let's say, and then get your extra piece on the rings, and just forfeit one of the trainee pieces. That works. Totally works. That's why trainee is really nice for this. But notice, here's a secret to why this build is so good. Trainee has one trait, which is like 1500 max health, okay? Night Slayer, the set comes with 1 trait of max health. Clever Alchemist comes with 2 traits of max health. And I could, alternatively, also put on a trait of max health on the monster piece. Or change the traits on these jewels. But just base on the gear, I'm looking at a lot of max health, which increases my shield size. That's how I've got such a big health pool. In PvP, it's going to be much, much higher than that. And so looking at the stats, roughly, you've got great max Magicka, an amazing health for being solo, and good heals, too. Magicka recovery is good, crit is okay, and you do need good crit. You can't sacrifice that crit. You gotta find a way to get some crit. The penetration goes up when I'm on my front bar. Penetration's good too. The trait I had to go with on my weapon was sharpened. At 3200, penetration makes a huge deal. And then, okay, yeah, we gotta do champion points. Real quick, just the basics. Elfborn I put 20% in to make my crits hit like a truck. I should put more into Blessed. I could redo that. 11 points out of there. Notice like I could go higher, but that would mean I'm putting like 15 points into it to get 1% out, when I could put 15 points in like Blessed or Spell Erosion and get way more than 1%. See what I mean? So diminishing returns. Staff Expert's really important because you got your overload and your light and heavy attacks from your Destros. Let's see, your direct damage, and you do need to put some Thaumaturge too to help your Haunting Curse do some good damage. Okay, your defensive things, Ironclad. This is a really important one because you don't want to die. Everything that's going to kill you in Cyrodiil pretty much is direct damage, like an Execute, anything, High Burst, someone's Warden Shocks. Those are going to be direct damage, and you gotta defend against that. They nerfed resist, so you don't get much out of that. Over here, 20, and that's important. Light armor focus, since you're 5-piece light, that's important. And then 43 hardy and elemental defender, 20 thick skinned. Expert defender, 14. Quick recovery, 27 for 7% buff. And Bastion, since you're a Sorc and you use shields all the time, you need some buff to your shields. It's important. Break Free is maybe the most important one in the green trees outside of like the regen. Arcane, healthy, 1%. Tenacity, 7%. Mooncalf, 7%. So I got a little buff to the stam as well there. And then blocking, I put a little points in blocking because blocking is very, very important. And there's certain situations like, say, I was, dodging around a tower, and I threw my runes down, and this guy's still on top of me. He's trying to hit me real hard. I put my shield on, I'm spamming my shields, and I'm blocking at the same time. That Shadow Ward is going to keep me from, being completely stamped out by the end of that and just dying, when he gets a CC on me. So Shadow Ward's important. Tumbling is nice. Round your points out. Don't put them all in the same spot. But there you go. That's the build. That's it. I haven't come up with a name for it yet, but it's a fun build. It's really fun. I hope you like it. Enjoy.